Hello there folks, it is TIJ Gaming and welcome back to the Tour de France 2020 Pro Team Series with the TIJ Racing Team. Today it is time for episode number 6 and the start of, I think it's is it the Euro Tour or the Open Tour? We'll soon find out and you guys will know by the title of the video. But let's have a quick look at how we got on in the Braze Cup to start off with. We won both the points classifications with Ben Swift and the polka dot jersey with Daya Quintana. So in the individual pro cycling rankings, our lead rider is now Ben Swift with 37 points, and Quintana is our joint leader with 37 points as well. We've got Bierge on 35 just behind them, Holmes on 16 and Dibben on 3. So that puts us up to 21st in the pro cycling rankings. But there are a lot of tournaments to go before we get to that. Is it Open Tour? It's the Open Tour, right. The Euro Tour comes before that. We haven't quite qualified for that just yet, and hopefully we'll be there by the end of the season. But let's see how the next few events goes. The Criterium du Dauphiné, it'll be interesting to see how that goes, particularly the Tour de France. That'll be an interesting one, and then the Euro Tour. So let's see stage by stage how that goes. I don't quite think we'll go through the Tour de France stage by stage because we could be here all day. But let's see who wins this Dauphiné trophy first off. So if Felix wins the first stage, he holds the yellow jersey, but the Astana rider, I'm going to guess that's Fuglsang. Yes, it is. He wins the second stage. Fairly flat stage. 3 fairly flat stages to start us off. And it's Ewan who wins that stage, but Fuglsang keeps the yellow jersey. Now, a time trial stage can always change things. The Jumbo-Visma team, Roglic won that time trial stage, so that changed the yellow jersey holder, and Roglic keeps it even though Ewan wins his second stage on the flat stage. And this is where things are going to change in the mountain stages. Fuglsang takes that yellow jersey back from Roglic. So it looks like a 2-horse race. Can Ineos get into it? Bernal now takes the yellow jersey. And coming into the final stage, Bernal wins it. Wow. Fuglsang held it for 3 stages. Roglic for 2 stages. But Bernal came, and just before the Tour de France, he wins a tournament. So really important for the Ineos team to get all there as well. So, let's have a look at the general classification. Bernal wins by a landslide in the end. It has to be said, Roglic and Fuglsang struggling in the end. Best climber classification, it's a blue jersey there, very interesting. The TFS team wins that. Points classification, Ewan wins that, no surprise given all the flat stages he won. Young rider classification, Bernal wins that by a landslide, as well as Ineos winning the team classification by a landslide as well. So in terms of the pro cycling rankings, Bernal moves up to 3rd place, but Roglic and Fuglsang keep their places in 1st and 2nd respectively. We move down the rankings a little bit, Swift moving down a few places to 51st place. Quintana moves down to 53rd, and Bierge moves down to 56th. So in the team rankings, we move down 1 place below Movistar and Hairbird Cycling Pro, back down to 22nd. So I think I'll cut this out a little bit here, because we don't want to go through the whole Tour de France. So I'll probably see you guys at that last sort of mountain stage. You started at the Lyon mountain stage, to see how things go. Well, it looks like it's going to be a landslide win for Jakob Fuglsang. Ineos not in there at all. The Jumbo-Visma team winning stages. 4 stages for Groningen, but Ineos win their first stage. This is where this turns around, that second mountain stage. And as I said, unbelievable really. Bernal takes the stage. And after a huge time that Fuglsang has had the yellow jersey, Bernal has stolen that in 2 stages in a row for the Ineos team. Is Bernal going to keep it in the 3rd stage though? No, Pinot gets it. Well, the yellow jersey for Pinot. This is changing quite a bit. But Ineos, can they take it back? No, Bernal wins the stage. But Pinot has the yellow jersey. So only really the time trial stage that might change things now. So who wins that stage? Vivanti wins it. So the time trial, really, the last opportunity for Ineos. It looks like it could be Roglic who wins that stage. It is, but Pinot is going to win the Tour de France. That is very interesting. Fuglsang had the lead for a long time. Roglic not really in there, apart from winning that time trial. Pinot not winning a single stage. That must be some sort of record still to win the Tour de France. But Fuglsang had the lead for a long time. Bernal for a few stages. And I mean, he won 3 of those 4 mountain stages. So a real surprise that he couldn't get the yellow jersey. Let's have a look at the final standings and see where the rest of the guys were that should be in contention. Let's see. There we go. Right, not worried about classification of the stage. Let's have a look at the general oh, wow. That was close. Bernal must have been so brassed off about that. 2 seconds stopped him winning the Tour de France. Fuglsang 3, Roglic 4, Ineos not doing as well as they did when we were in charge. Their next rider in 15th with Carapaz. Thomas only 16th, not 15th. Thomas 17th, Froome 28th. Best climber was Yates for the Movistar team, I think that is. Points classification, Groenewegen wins that for Jumbo-Visma. Young rider, obviously Bernal, and Ineos win the team classification. So the pro cycling rankings, Bernal moves up into second. Not a good tour for Roglic at all, to be quite honest. And Pinot, with that Tour de France win, moves up to 5th in the individual pro cycling rankings. But it looks like it's a battle between Fuglsang and Bernal, really, for that pro cycling championship. And it looks like Visma have got the team rankings pretty much nailed. As you can see, though, we move back to 23rd place. 17 points to make up on Hairbird Cycling Pro to move into 22nd. And we have got that chance with the Open Tour. But of course, we still have got the Euro Tour to come. So let's see how that one goes. This season really going to be our most damaging. The least chances possible to make an impression. But when we have had a chance so far, we've done pretty well. A 5-stage tour, though. This is the Euro Tour. So Van Aert has the yellow jersey for the moment. But that is stolen by Nason, who wins the second stage. Ineos rider wins stage number 3. It's Kwiatkowski, but Nason still keeps that yellow jersey. The Astana rider wins number 4. Who is it? It's Jacob Fuglsang, but Nason still keeps it. It's a fairly competitive. This, though, the final stage. Ineos win the team time trial, but Nason wins the yellow jersey. Amazing, really. As you can see, the Ineos team winning the team time trial, but not enough to beat Oliver. I think is it Oliver? Not a clue. But he beat Nason wins it by 28 seconds. Best climbing classification, it's the Movistar team. Van Aert wins the points classification. Very interesting to see. So in the pro cycling rankings, Fuglsang extends his lead to Bernal. Van Aert getting into the top 10 there. Peter Sagan in 10th. And in the team rankings, yeah, it's really all over, to be honest. Visma have won that, I would say. But we are in 23rd. Nice to see a new team there. Circus Vanti. Or Wanty, I'm not really sure. But they got some points there. Nice to see that. But we are in a bit of an uphill struggle here. All the way from 23rd. As you can see, we need, 43 points over Hairbird Cycling Pro. But here we go. After a long wait, we finally managed to start the Open Tour. So we'll do 2 stages in today's video. As you can see, there's 2 flat stages to get us started here.
Hi guys, welcome to the briefing for this first stage. The main thing to grasp today is that the route is flat and it harbours no particular difficulties. A sprint finish is more than likely. We don't have what it takes to be in the final sprint. If we want to make a showing, we'll have to be in the early breakaway. Have a good stage.
Hello everyone. If the start of the stage is conducive to an early breakaway, the finish, on the other hand, is perfect terrain for the sprinters and their teams who will do their utmost to set up a mass sprint.
Here we go then. Welcome to the Open Tour. Love to see Bierge being barged out to the outside. Great start. But before I was really rudely interrupted by the sports director, I was going to say, we'll do the 2 flat stages in today's video. As you can see, not demanding at all, really, this stage. A few things today. A few objectives. To finish in the first 25 with Ben Swift. To finish in the top 20 with John Dibben. And also to be part of today's breakaway with Mikel Bierge. So, we'll try and do that. We'll tell the rest of our guys to follow and not overtire. No point going for it too much here. Part with Bierge. But as you can see, a very basic stage. And the second stage is pretty similar. I think a few more climbs potentially. But as you can see, 2 early climbs here, and then it's just a flat stage, to be honest, until the finish. Just one guy going away, and we can't seem to get there. That's more like it from Mikel Bierge. Early chance potentially for some climbing points. Peloton not really going for it too much here. Already got a decent gap. Okay, we've used pretty much all of our energy now, so we'll come back down to earth. We've got a good gap to the peloton. The breakaways don't usually work, but as you can see here, this one definitely has for the moment. Used a lot of our energy. That's the problem with Bierge. He's not really the best rider to be in a breakaway, I don't think. He's not got the most energy, but he's a young guy, and hopefully that will improve over time. But really, we might as well have a look at these 2 climbs. It's the best chance of getting anything today, I think. I mean, I think they've been a little bit not underwhelming, what's the word? Pessimistic, that's the word I was going for. He was being a bit pessimistic, I think, saying that we won't have the chance to be in the final sprint. Because if you remember, we won the first stage of the Braze Cup with Ben Swift in a final sprint. And we certainly weren't too bad there. We did a very good job, actually, very respectable job with Ben Swift. And he's a good sprinter, so I think it's a little bit harsh to say that we've got no chance. Just trying to make a little bit of a inroads into these guys. Going to be tricky though, being 9 seconds behind to take the point. But the main point is here, pardon the pun, is that of course we are in the breakaway and we've got a good gap to the guys behind. Hugo knows these two might tie up. Sanchez and Janssen. And Astana and a Jumbo Visma rider. We're right with them now, to be fair. So 0.3 kilometres to go. We might as well go for this. Going to be tricky though, ultimately, isn't it? We've been about 10 seconds behind, so we'll just concede defeat there on that climb. Janssen wins the first climb. And coming down, we'll get a bit of a reprieve. We'll get in the aerodynamic position. And I'll see you guys at the next climb. But this very much is going to be a starter to this open tour today. Just making sure we keep on our feet, don't make any silly mistakes, and remain inside the peloton with most of our riders. But a good chance to be in the breakaway with Bierge. Well, I've just been told the peloton is starting to go for it now. As you can see, they certainly are. There's no question about that. We've got a chance for some points here. We're a lot closer to the guys here. And we've got a lot more energy. That's the most crucial thing. Follow Janssen for the moment. Be good if we can get 2 points here. So a good relay. We've got about 1 minute and 45 on the peloton, so looking okay at the moment. Yeah, obviously we're not the best puncher, we know that. We know that. Try and set some good pace here. Running out a bit of blue energy, but we do have a feed after this climb, so we might as well use some of our feed. Got a good chance here, potentially, if we keep at it. Put some good pace in now. And let's go for it. They've gone for it. I don't quite think we've got the pace here, but we could be wrong. Looking okay here. It's just all about the endurance to the end. We'll get at least a point here with Bierge. Good stuff. Well done. Well done indeed. Good stuff. We've got a bit of a climb before our next feed, so I'm going to be a little bit hesitant before taking that feed. Just to make sure we've got enough energy. But we took a point on that climb. Very happy with that. And as you can see, we extend our advantage on the peloton. But really, the next important point of the stage is the sprint. But as just telling there, sprints aren't really his thing. But if there's a 3-minute gap back to the peloton, I think that probably, most likely, we'll be able to finish in third. So, no worries there. So here we go for the first of 2 sprints of the day. I have told the guys in the peloton, rather than following now to persist without limit, just put a bit more pace in, try and get a bit further forward in the group, because there's certainly a good chance for some points. But we're going to focus on Michael Bierge first, of course. That's only right. We'll at least get in the top 3 here. We will focus on the guys behind as well, obviously, at some point, but most important thing is us for the moment. Got a good amount of energy here, not the most demanding. The stage has been pretty flat, and it's pretty much downhill actually now. We've had the 2 climbs, so it's just a case of going downhill really. So 2 kilometres to go. Just putting a bit more pace. Get a bit more revved up for this. Coming downhill is certainly going to help us with momentum. Obviously it's the same for everyone, so everyone will have that momentum. Putting some good pace, and coming around the corner. Here we go for the sprint. Can we do it? Sprints aren't really his thing apparently, but Michael Bierge looks good here. Out the way, nice, and we take 20 points. Brilliant, fantastic. We'll also tell everyone else behind to attack. Michael Bierge taking 20 points, eh? Sprints aren't really his thing. No one ever told me. Right, we'll just work with our opponents now. Ben Swift not ideally placed. But we've told everybody to attack in front, so we're going to go for it ourselves. A bit more awkward, obviously, in the peloton here to get a bit better place. And we've been shoved out into the wall, so Ben Swift might not have the best chance here. But we're just powering through. Really good stuff from Ben. Come on, son. Throw it over the line. And where do we manage to finish in the end? We get 7th. I'll take that. A little bit unrealistic how we just whacked through everyone there. But Quintana gets 6 points. Don't quite think anybody else got any points there. No, Williams did get 2 and Dibben got 1. So good in the sprinting point of view. And we'll now go back to Mikel Bierge. We have told Quintana to attack, admittedly. So they should just slot back into the peloton, hopefully. Keep an eye on those guys. Make sure they don't slip away at all. But a very good start to this tour. We win the sprint. We do well with Ben Swift as well. And now really the only highlight of this is the end of the stage. So I'll see you guys when we get to the final sprint. Again, another good chance for some points. And potentially, if this goes us all the way, we could have a stage win with Mikel Bierge. So just over 10 kilometres to go here in this first stage. As you could see, Bierge couldn't keep up with the breakaway, but it doesn't really matter because the breakaway won't win the race anyway. Janssen is filtering back into the peloton now, and it is very much going to be a bunch finish as we come to the 10-kilometre line. Sanchez is 8 seconds ahead, but that gap is going to be eaten up very, very quickly. It's important now to get into a good place with our guys. I know the sports director said we wouldn't be having a chance in the final sprint, but it's certainly worth going for. And I think Ben Swift is our best sprinter. It is probably Dibben that we've got to watch out for because he's meant to finish in the top 20 to get some points. Some bonus points in terms of our recovery for this stage. But ultimately, I think Ben Swift is our best chance. That's why we're focusing on him. We've, of course, got a full feed left of everyone as well. So we'll be taking that with about 5 kilometres to go. But these last 10 kilometres always go very quickly. Nobody falling away from the peloton. So that's good news as well. We will get Dibben to protect Ben Swift. Just more so to try and get up to the pace of Ben Swift to get a bit better placed. That's more the aim there. But we're in the top 10, or at least in that group, which is positive to see. I think Bierge is starting to struggle, so I'm going to give him a bit of a helping hand with that blue gel a little bit earlier than planned. And obviously with 5 to go, we will also do it for everybody else. But a good chance in this stage to do something. As you can see, there's the 5-kilometre line just ahead. So we'll stop now and tell everybody to take their red gel first off. Oh, I think we've gone with blue gel for Dibben, but in the grand scheme of things, it doesn't matter too much. Where is he? I don't know where Dibben is. So Ben Swift consumed his feed, so you'd think, oh, maybe not. Everyone else is just slow. Got to make sure we can attack soon as well. That's important. Oh, for goodness sake, just consume your feeds, lads. Right, we'll get Dibben to attack at this point, just to try and get a bit better placed. Need to focus on Ben Swift as well here. Okay, Ben's consumed all of his feed now. Oh, for goodness sake, really? Are you not going to bother consuming your feed? Pillocks. You're that slow, it's painful. Oh, nearly putting that rider into the wall there, poor lad. Just trying to get a better place with Ben Swift. Tell them to consume their last gel. I think Williams is doing that now. And we'll just tell all of our guys to attack. Get a bit better placed. It ain't going to hurt. Actually, we'll tell Bierge just to persist without limit because he has run out of energy. It's probably best for him just to linger at the back. Not put too much energy into this. Setting a good pace, though, with Ben Swift here. Told the rest of our guys to attack, at least I think we have, yeah. So, can only do more than that. Janssen and Rowlands, though, starting to struggle. 2 fairly big names. And here we go for the final kilometre. Can we win the first stage? Come on, Ben. Come on, Ben. Oh, we're running out of energy. We might have gone a little bit early. Oh, no. Oh, that's a shame. Over the line. Just went maybe 0.1 kilometres too early. But nevertheless, we finished in the top 10 of that sprint. That is a big plus. Just went a little bit too early there. And with a little bit too much intensity, as you can see. Ben had got it, really. Got a good gap. But the guys behind, because we just put in a bit too much pace too early, managed to get the stage win. But still, considering we apparently weren't in the race for that sprint, that was a very, very good sprint. And here we go for the first podiums of the Open Tour. So let's see. So the stage winner, not sure who that was. Don't recognise the team name, admittedly. It's Buhani. Never heard of him. Points classification, obviously he leads that as well, inevitably. as well as the yellow jersey. Janssen for the Jumbo-Visma team leads the best climber classification. And it's Boll also for the Sunweb team who leads the young rider classification after stage number 1. So let's see what the sports director's got to say. And let's also see where our guys finished.
Well done, lads. You rode a very good stage. Finishing in the top 10, even though the stage didn't suit us, is very satisfying. We got off to a good start, and we must keep on like that.
Rather annoying that Dibben couldn't get anywhere near the top 20, but oh well. Best climber classification, Bierge's got a point towards that. Ben Swift, 23 points in the points classification. Bierge also in the top 5. Young rider classification, again, because it was a flat stage, don't expect too much differentiation at the moment. And, yeah, looking pretty good after stage number 1. Pretty pleased with that. Obviously, the classifications are exactly the same as the stage, apart from that top 3 that get a little bit of an advantage. So Ben Swift picks himself 5 points for the individual pro cycling ranking. That moves him from 71st all the way up to 66th place. So 2 ticks today, finishing the first 25 of the stage, and we were also part of today's breakaway. But a very short stage, pretty much a bog standard one, but the most important thing is that nothing went wrong. So now we move on to stage number 2.
The main thing to grasp today is that the route is flat and it harbours no particular difficulties. A sprint finish is more than likely. It'll be important to pick up maximum points in order to make up lost ground for the green jersey. We don't have what it takes to be in the final sprint. If we want to make a showing, we'll have to be in the early breakaway. Have a good stage.
Greetings, ladies and gentlemen. In the absence of any notable difficulty, we can assume that the sprinters' teams will take control of the race to set up a bunched finish. Which of the sprinters will seize his chance to succeed Marcel Kittel, winner in Po in 2017?
Well, exactly. There you go. Welcome to stage 2, folks. 171 kilometres, so longer in length than the first. The first, a very short stage compared to what we usually race. As you can see, 3 climbs today, but the same amount of points available. 3 fourth class climbs, so a point available at each, and 2 sprints. Interesting that 4th climb does come just before the finish. But if we can get in a better position with Bierge, we will go for the breakaway. It seems he is our breakaway rider. And much like in the last stage, it's exactly the same objectives than we had before. So to be in today's breakaway with Michael Bierge, and also to be in the top 25 with Ben Swift, and the top 20 with John Dibben. And a similar stage as well, seeming that Janssen has gone for this. Remember, ourselves and Janssen, the only 2 riders to score anything in the climbing classification. Huh. We lead the overall standings. Well, there you go. It's only because Janssen finished a long way back, so I won't be getting too hyped up about that just yet. But we'll just tell our guys, as usual, just to follow and not over-tyre here. It's a flat stage, absolutely no point burning ourselves out too much.
You're not going to be able to attack for much longer.
And I'm not a big fan of Bierge in the breakaway because he seems to fall away at the end of the race, but he does give us recovery bonuses, so I can take it, because we're not really going for anything with Bierge necessarily. So that recovery bonus of +2, it helps, even though we might finish a little bit behind the peloton. So I think it's certainly worth the pain, if you like. But a good breakaway here. As you can see, it's quite a way to that first climb. So I'll see you guys when we get there. Well, we couldn't sustain any effort in the breakaways, unfortunately. So Senechat, Vinance and Feline in the secondary breakaway, if you like, it was prevented by the peloton, and then 3 new guys went. We didn't have the legs for that. And there's nobody else, no point anybody else going in the breakaway. There was just far too much of a gap already, so it just seemed pointless to go for it. But Vinance wins the first point of the day. Obviously, because there's 3 guys up there, there's no chance we can get any points in the mountains. So the sprint really is our main focus, I would say. And I'll see you guys when we get there. But I'll also tell you the results of the climbs as well. But for today, no real chance in those climbs. So the first of 2 sprints of the day coming up. None of the top 3 have got any points in the points classification. That will certainly help us out. Ben Swift potentially going for that green jersey here. As you can see, Merlin, who's got the green jersey at the moment, just attacking a little bit. Don't know where the rest of our guys are. Just telling them to persist without limits, so hopefully they can get a little bit better placed. Again, not sure really, apart from persisting without limit, what we can do particularly to make sure they get a bit higher placed. Obviously, apart from controlling them. Can't do that for everyone, though. And Ben Swift is probably our best chance. So the top 3 coming across the line already. Who's going to get the main points? We'll soon see. It is Feline. And just after that, we have got the second climb of the day, sorry. Tell our guys to attack, give ourselves a chance. Being blocked in, though, a little bit here. That's not going to help us. Kilometres to go. We're putting in a good turn of pace. Might have gone a little bit too early. Let's see. Don't need to put that real attacking pace in. Yeah, we've gone too early there. Gone too early. 8th place, though. We'll take that. With Ben Swift. Anybody else got any points there? Told them all to attack, so we'll have to see. No, on that occasion, unfortunately, nobody gets any points. That's a shame. Apart from the man we were controlling, Ben Swift. I will just fast forward to see who wins the climb. Take our feed as well at this point. Just 1 point available, so no point trying to go for it too much. Feline wins that point. Take all of our feed. Obviously, the feed is coming up right after this climb. And then, really, the only thing that's potentially coming up, we could have a bit of a change at that last climb of the day. I know that the sports director doubted it and didn't think that would happen, but I suppose you never know. But the real highlight is, once again, as with all flat stages, the final sprint. But we'll have to see if the breakaway can go all the way. They've got a good gap, but that is coming down slowly but surely, and a long way to go, so I don't think they'll go all the way, but I suppose you never know. And with a click of a finger, we're back again to the last sprint of the day. It was Vinance who took the last climbing point, and as you can see now, all of us are back together. Oops, didn't quite realise that it would be that tight around that corner. Just everyone taking the aerodynamic position at the moment. Obviously, we've got all of our feed left, so nothing to worry about there. But there's the 10-kilometre line for this stage. To be fair, some of the guys at the front have gone for it. A little bit more of a spaced out peloton than you might expect, potentially.
Watch the demeanour of the other sprinters to know when to launch your sprint. If you start too soon, you'll be unable.
Yeah, I agree with that statement, to be honest. We've been guilty of going a little bit too early. What we will do, though, is take our feed a bit early, because we were distracted a little bit by everyone being a bit of a pain in the backside. We'll try this. We'll try them to get 60% pace. Don't know what that will do, whether it will work. But we need to get our guys a little bit further up the field if we're going to get any points for the sprinters. The green jersey man is right with us, so that's usually a good sign. There's Holmes. Ah, this is probably a bit better. Good stuff. One of our guys I can see at least. That is Holmes, as I've just said. There's Quintana and Dibben as well, so looks good. Looks okay. Bit more of a wider road, so a bit more of a chance. 6Ks to go, so we'll tell our guys to first off consume their red gel.
Okay, I'll consume a feed.
And then obviously after that, their blue gel. Not really much going for though here. It's just worth having a punt on these sprints. And Ben Swift, I think, is our best opportunity to do something.
Get ready to sprint. We need to score points for the green jersey.
Well, apparently we are going for the green jersey, so why not? It ain't going to hurt. Get everyone else to take their blue gel.
Okay, I'll consume a
And we're well placed with Ben Swift. Who's that to our left? There's Holmes right in front. That's great to see. Might have a chance here. Dibben doing well. Maybe that 60% is the way to go. A lot of our guys are well placed. Hopefully we can keep up that effort. It'd be brilliant if a lot of our guys can finish in the top 15. That would make my day. A few corners there before the end here. And we're nicely placed here. Someone's going a little bit early for this. We'll try and keep with them. Okay, nearly up to the last kilometre now. We do lead, but I doubt that'll be for long. Tell our guys to attack. I think Quintana, Williams, Holmes and Dibben. Not too bothered about Bierge, really.
I'll put in a big acceleration.
So, we'll go a little bit later this time. Here we go.
Go. 1 kilometre. Give it all you
Don't think any of our guys particularly there, but we can go for it up to the line. Come on, Ben. Up to the line, and I think it's about 8th in the end, which isn't too bad. I'll take that. Some points at least, and everybody has finished, so that's quite good to see. See if anybody finished particularly well. I don't think anybody would have finished amazingly, but a decent day, that's the main thing really in the end. Not much going on, but equally, we weren't pushed out. The next 2 stages are going to be the most interesting, most definitely. Those 2 mountain stages, which will determine the winner. But an Emirates rider who wins the 2nd stage, let's see who that is. It is Marcato. But the guy who won the last stage has still got that yellow jersey. Can't be a long way though. Bahani has the general classification, also has the points classification, and best climber still with Janssen, and young rider, no surprise, still with Ball. It's very close on those flat stages, so you're not going to see much of a change really. But let's see how we got on and how the sports director took that.
Well done, lads. You rode a very good stage. Finishing in the top 10, even though the stage didn't suit us, is very satisfying.
That's a big plus. John Dibben in the top 20. Holmes in 21st. Quintana in 34th. That's real good stuff to see. So points classification for the stage. Ben Swift managed to pick up 20 points. No points for anybody else though, unfortunately. We'll take that. Most definitely. It's general classification then. Ben Swift is in 8th place. But everybody at the same point really, apart from that top 6. The top 6 obviously also in the top 3 in either stage. They pick up a bit of a time bonus. Points classification, Ben Swift moves down to 5th. Young rider classification, Williams moves up 3 places. Anybody off? No, I didn't think anybody was off and running off. But pro cycling rankings, I think Ben Swift will take a few points. Again, 4 points. Every little helps at the end of the day. And that moves up to 137 for the season. But we achieved all of our aims today, and that is a big plus. So, next up, we have got stage number 3. The next 2 stages will be done in separate videos because, as you can see, particularly this one, 2 really tough climbs. And then in the 4th stage, 4 very tough climbs. So that'll be a very tough one. But hopefully at the same time, a very enjoyable one for me and for you guys as well. But if you enjoyed this episode of the Pro Team series, make sure to leave a like down below. The response has been brilliant to this series so far, and hopefully we can keep that up. But until the next time, which will be next Tuesday, again we release videos on Tour de France on a Tuesday, a Thursday and on a Saturday at 6 PM. So until Tuesday, hope you guys have a good rest of your weekend, good rest of your day, etc, etc. And I hope you've enjoyed. Leave a like if you enjoyed as well, and subscribe for regular Tour de France content. And I will see you guys later. Goodbye for now.